Max Verstappen just lost the one thing that gave him real power over his own future. Buried inside his Red Bull contract was an exit clause, a safety net that let him walk away if the team failed to deliver. That clause just activated. And now, Red Bull wants it gone for good. Here's how we got here. Back when Verstappen signed his current deal through 2028, his management built in a specific performance guarantee. The clause was simple. If Verstappen wasn't inside the top two of the Drivers' Championship by the summer break, he'd have the right to terminate his contract, with zero compensation owed to Red Bull. At the time, it probably felt like a formality. Verstappen was the dominant force in Formula One. Nobody expected he'd actually need it. But the 2026 regulations changed everything. A completely new generation of cars, with roughly half the power now coming from the battery, arrived, and Red Bull struggled to adapt. Verstappen's results slipped. A DNF at the British Grand Prix made it mathematically impossible for him to be inside the top two by the time the summer break arrived. The failsafe he built years ago, the one nobody thought he'd ever use, just got triggered for real. Now here's where it gets interesting. Instead of letting the clause sit there as leverage, Red Bull has reportedly gone on the offensive. Rather than simply buying out the clause with a one-time payment, reports suggest the team wants something bigger, a brand new contract entirely. One that extends Verstappen's deal further into the future, increases his base salary significantly, and quietly removes any mention of an exit route at all. Think about what that actually means. Red Bull isn't just trying to keep Verstappen around for one more year. They're trying to lock him into a deal with no way out. At the exact moment, he has the most leverage he's ever had. That's not a coincidence. That's a team that knows exactly how much danger they're in of losing their biggest asset, and is moving fast to close the door before he can walk through it. And Verstappen's side of this isn't exactly rushing to sign. Reports describe Red Bull's ownership growing increasingly frustrated, with executives reportedly annoyed that Verstappen is holding them in limbo after years of what they see as full financial commitment on their end. But from Verstappen's perspective, why would he give up the one card that finally works in his favor? He spent years watching this new regulation era approach with visible dread, publicly comparing the new cars to something closer to an electric racing series than the sport he grew up loving. Now that his warnings have essentially come true, he has real proof and real power to make a decision on his own terms. So what happens next? Verstappen reportedly has until his birthday at the end of September to decide whether to activate the clause and walk. Red Bull, meanwhile, is dangling money and a longer-term commitment to make the decision disappear before he ever has to make it. And looming over all of this is Mercedes, still the most realistic alternative if Verstappen decides Red Bull's project isn't worth waiting for, even though Toto Wolff has publicly reaffirmed his commitment to his current lineup. This is the situation Red Bull finds themselves in. A four-time champion with a golden ticket in his pocket, a team desperate to make the ticket disappear, and a deadline that's now only weeks away. Whatever Verstappen decides, one thing is already clear. The exit clause that was supposed to be a formality just became the most important paragraph in Formula One right now. Let me know in the comments, do you think Red Bull manages to lock Verstappen down before September? Or does he finally walk? Subscribe for more, because this story is about to get a lot bigger.